Got a tiger by the tail, and boy, that cat could wail. It's Rhyme and Reason 837.
Here's your rhyme and reason. Oh, yeah.
Hey there, Tony here, and you know the sound. You remember the sound a donkey's supposed to make, right? Hee-haw. Well, when I was a kid, there was a show on TV called Hee-haw, and every weekend through the summer, I remember the family gathered around the TV set to watch all that corn-pone humor. It was hosted by Roy Clark and Buck Owens. And Buck Owens is also the guy who sang Tiger by the Tail. You heard me say that at the opening of the episode here. And I want you to keep in mind, of course, I've mentioned this before. If you've paid attention or if you're new here, you'll hear it for the first time. I'm basically not a country music fan, basically. Especially what's trying to pass itself off as country music these days. But I was raised in the Midwest and the Mid-South and the South, so, there's no way to avoid it altogether. And I do get a kick out of some of the old songs, I do. Tiger by the Tail was one of those songs. It was a hit way back when songs didn't always try to have a political message or lyrics focused on who's hooking up with who, or is that whom? Doesn't matter. It's a hookup. We don't want that. Anyway, in fact, lyrics didn't have to be deep at all. And I'm not talking about deep. I mean, deep in depth, in their message. Just catchy. And lyrics were that way in this chorus from Buck's song, Tiger by the Tail, where it said, I've got a tiger by the tail, it's plain to see. I won't be much when you get through with me. Well, I'm a-losing weight and I'm turning mighty pale. Looks like I've got a tiger by the tail. And there you go. Yeah, you might not believe this, but whole families used to sit around the TV together and listen to stuff like that. And just in case it doesn't sound cool, well, get this. Dean Martin, a.k.a. Mr. Cool, had Buck Owens on his TV show, on Dean's show that he had, and he sang that song with Buck. You don't have to believe me. It's on YouTube, and it couldn't be on YouTube if it was a lie, right? There's no lying on YouTube. So there. Now, I took a different spin on the tiger tail idea when I first put together a group of songs, a collection of songs for kids. It's a collection called Kiddin' Around. In the very first song on that collection, and in that collection, it's called Don't. The first song is called Don't. And I said, one of the lines was, I said, don't grab a tiger by the tail. I followed that up with, don't go dancing with the whale. And it's filled with lots of advice on what you should not do and you really can't do. And I remember how a bunch of kids laughed when I sang it for them at a Christian school outdoor get-together a few years ago. So now, Kiddin' Around, the collection, is a coloring, drawing songbook. And the lyrics to all the songs are on the first pages. So you'd open it up and you see those pages of lyrics, just like you would, like a songbook. But then there are characters to color. And then after that, you have blank pages for drawing. So it's a coloring book and it's a drawing book. But the best part is there's a secret link to download all the songs that go with all those lyrics. And right now, I have a limited supply. Every once in a while, I get a limited supply of autographed copies of the book. In other words, it's physical copies of the book, and I'll sign it. And you can get one for your kids today at tonyfunderburk.com/Kiddin' Around book. And that'd be KIDDIN, and then a hyphen, and then around, and then a hyphen, and then book. Oh, hopefully that makes sense. You can find it in the links in the notes to this episode, or just go to tonyfunderburk.com and look for the Kiddin' Around book. You can buy it right off of Amazon too, if that's your preference. You don't have to buy it through my website. If you buy it through the Amazon link, if that's your preference to buy it on Amazon, in other words, that one won't be an autographed copy because those would come directly to you from Amazon and not from me. So they're not going to pass it over to me and say, hey, Tony, can you sign this before we send it on over? They're not going to do that. They're just going to send you the book. But you get some from me, and I'll sign it for you. If that means anything at all to you. If it doesn't, just, do whatever you would like. But it helps support what I'm doing here on the Rhyme and Reason podcast and at TonyFunderburk.com. And just in case that you doubt, for any reason, and I don't know why you would, that Dean Martin and Buck Owens sang together, I have a link to that at TonyFunderburk.com / what was this? Tiger by the Tail. That's right. And that does it for this episode of the Rhyme and Reason podcast, brought to you, as always, by TonyFunderburk.com. Thank you so much for tuning in. It means a whole lot to me, and I'm not kidding around about that. And remember, life has rhyme and reason because God made you.
There's a rhyme and reason.